Alright, so with the release of 203 of the Athena framework, which is a roleplay framework for Grand Theft Auto 5, I figured it's about time I try and cover everything that is in this thing because it's a lot to explain what it is, what's in it, and what you can do with this framework. Um, I'll try and make this video generally covering some of the basics of what's in here so you can get just like a basic understanding of uh, what's inside of it already. So I guess first things first, we can start off with character creation. So right from the get-go, if you don't have a character, it's going to ask you to create one, or it's going to create one, and then you can just go to the character editor, and inside of here you can see we have different options for like presets or whatever we want to do here. We can change like facial features like this. We've got different blends. We got everything. Like this thing has almost nearly everything for customization. You can change eye color, whatever you want. So if we go over here, you can change each individual option, just like other RP servers. You can change the hairstyle. You can change the hair color if you want. You can rotate around. You can move your character around or your camera around like that. Um, we got ways that you can add like different blemishes, and you can change the opacity of that as well. You can add makeup and all sorts of cool things like that as well. There's like all sorts of different options and just things that you can pick from. I'm gonna go ahead and set back to 0 here. And then you could set your name. So let's just do that. And yeah, save. So then it's going to spawn us. We pretty much have nothing. And we have a little bit of cash. We have food and water up in the top right. And all this stuff you can move around, customize, or do whatever you want to do with it. The point is the systems for the back end of this already exist, so it makes it very easy for you to adjust them. So one of the things that we have already, we have an inventory. As you can see, I have pretty much nothing in here. I don't even have any clothes. So what I could do is, like, let's say I want to add a weapon. So on the left we have our command thing, or our input box. So we can either chat, so we can test, or you can do your traditional things like that. And let's just do like weapon pistol 50. And I'll show you guys how the inventory works. So here's our inventory. We can move these around. We can move it to different pages. We can move it back, put it in our hotbar, and then we can press 1 to equip it. And when you aim down sights, you also get a camera that shakes as you're aiming as well, so it makes the firefights a little more difficult. And you can unequip it by just pressing 1. And then we have things like, let's just say I set my health to 150. And let's just say, I think it's a burger. I can do item, an item, burger. Burger was out of my inventory. So as you can see, it says the data amount of 5. This is all customizable as well, all these items. You can make them do different things, different item effects. So down there, if I consume the burger, it's going to heal a little bit of health for me. It's also going to give me a little bit of food. But the other great thing that we have as well is, like, let's say we do, like, here's an example of a custom item effect. So I just got a teleporter, and it has the last location that I was in. So now when I right-click this teleporter, it will take me to that location. Just like this. There we go. I have now been teleported. So, and to give you an idea of how easy that actually looks, if we go into our actual source code, you'll see in our plugins, we have a teleport effect. This is it. This is all that's needed to write this custom command, custom item, and the effect of the teleport as well. It's very simple. And there's a lot of things like that as well. So anyway, getting back into this. So we have all that. Let's say we have, I don't know, what if you wanted a personal vehicle? Let's do, I don't know, a cyclone. So here's our vehicle. It's now ours. If I press X, I can unlock it. X, I can lock it. I can enter the vehicle. I can turn on the engine. and turn off the engine. I can also open the trunk, and obviously I have no items other than the thing in my toolbar. So let's actually open that again, but with an item in our inventory here. And I can take this pistol, I can store it away in the trunk of the vehicle. And I can also open it again and close it. And oh, speaking of that, this menu here, you can create as many of these as you want, and they're infinitely scalable. Want to see an example of that? Here is a common menu for animations, and you can do all sorts of different animations. You can push vehicles if you want, you know, like maybe you're out of gas or something, you can push your vehicle forward or whatever. And then let's say maybe I don't want this vehicle to be broken into or something. I can drive this vehicle over to a garage, and there just so happens to be one right here. It's a little point on the map. So if I just put my car here, I come over to this garage here, and I open it up. I can check the fuel, and I can despawn it. I can also spawn it again, which is fantastic. So it's an easy way to store your vehicles, and they'll always be in that garage or whatever when you need them. And then the next thing is, let's just say I want to go customize my character and get some clothing or whatever. So we'll go over to this clothing shop. Let's hop out of the car here. And go ahead and head in here. And we're just going to browse the clothing store. So, just like the character editor, really simple menu. When you change different things, it's automatically going to change based on like default values and things like that, not what's currently equipped. So let's say that I want a very specific type of like top or whatever. I get to customize what that top is, like the shirt, the undershirt, and the arms that come with it as well. So for example, if I want to do this shirt, different color or whatever, I can choose the undershirt for it as well. I can change the color of that. And then if I want, I can change the arms to make it match the clothing that we need it to. And then I can give it a custom name as well. So I could do like black leather jacket, and it's shiny. I don't know. I can purchase it, I can exit here, and it's automatically going to equip it for me because I don't have any clothes on. And as you know, you can drag it off, but you can also just right click to equip it or whatever. And speaking of dropping and things like that, you can also drop things on the ground, and you can also pick them up again. What else? What else do we talk about in this thing? There's so many things. Okay, so let's go over to what would be considered the job framework. So the job framework is a type of framework that lets you write any job that you would ever want. It's again infinitely scalable. It's just one of those things. But I'm going to give you a demonstration of how this would work. So I'm going to press E. I'm going to go ahead and have this little pop-up that says, hey, you know, you're going to go rob a jewelry store or whatever. All right, so you go and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and head over in this direction. Let's just say I get a weapon. I don't know. Assault rifle, right? Go ahead and head on in there. And right here, we get like a basic status check here, and we can do custom animations, we can do particle effects, we can do sounds. And this is all stuff that's just written on the server side. So all this stuff is fed down to the player to create these really just scalable jobs that you can completely customize in whatever way you want. And I'll show you actually what that code looks like here in a second as we go through and smash all the cases inside of the jewelry store. And then normally there's like a siren or something in the background, but I removed the audio API for that, so maybe at some point in the future I'll reintroduce it, but right now I don't think it's a good idea. So yeah, we're gonna escape out the front door, and it's gonna tell us, hey, go to our extraction point over here. So as we head on over here, go down the stairs or whatever. And bam, there we go. We just made 800 bucks. So pretty simple stuff. So let me show you what that actually looks like though in code. So I have the heist example here, and this is the very basic example of you know, what this looks like. Second. Let's do that. Oh, it's being lame. Hold on. Yeah, sometimes it'll do that. So, what we have now is like, okay, so this is what a objective looks like inside of a job framework. So all this right here is a single objective. So it has different criteria, like, oh, I don't want you to be inside of a vehicle, or you could do like job enums, objective criteria. It could be like no dying, no weapon, etc. Like there's other things that you could like tack onto the job system that will let you determine like the different ways to do it. But right now, this is like the pretty basic version of the job system. I've definitely written something in the past that's way more robust than this. So this is only the beginning of it. So as I introduce the different objectives and things like that, we'll see more customizable things. But obviously, we have like position, we have marker, we have a text label that goes with it. We have an event that gets called when the objectives or when it starts or when the objective is completed. So that can be seen here, and it says, "Hey, you've started the heist." So there's a lot of different things that you can do just with the job framework. So each of these objectives is just completed in order. But you can also construct these dynamically. So like let's say that you wanted a mountain biking system, you could technically write a system that generates a downhill trail based on like Z positions that are like randomly found on the map while the player's like near it. Like you could teleport them around to it, get the Z positions, and then feed them back up to the server to create a unique trail for every like mountain biking experience or something. So there's a lot of things you can do with just this. Oh, okay. So what can we talk about next? So I did restart the server because I hit Control S. So here's our character select. It's this up here in the top left is going to get fixed in this next update. But you can cycle through your characters or whatever. So, here's our last character, and if I hit select, it's going to bring me back in game. Okay, so let's talk about houses, because that's a thing that exists. So if we head back over here, we'll see a house. I don't even know if it's unlocked. It is. So we can enter it, and we're inside of a house or an interior, and it's bound to each dimension. And on top of that, we also have an object streamer as well. So if you want, you can bind different objects to this interior, and they'll spawn just in the interior, and they'll be unique to that interior. So you got a lot of customization as far as that goes. What else? What else can we talk about here? Okay, factions. Factions is a whole different thing. Let me switch characters here to show you what that... we'll do a fresh one. Why not? So if I do faction create, like this, let's say it's grass, and if I press K, here is my faction menu. So inside of here, I can see various things that are available to me. I can change the faction name, like new faction, and I can hit that, and it's automatically going to change it. It'll update it in the database, and everybody else in the faction will be notified as well. And there's also logs, so you can see who changed the faction name. And on top of that, because there's even more to come with this. You have individual ranks. You can add pretty much as many ranks as you want. So I could do like Hello World. That's my next rank, and I can change the name of it. So I could do like Below Goon. And I can also customize its permissions as well. Like, can they access the faction storage? Can they access weapons? Can they add members? Can they change member ranks? Can they change the name of the faction? Like, all of these permissions completely customizable for every rank, which is fantastic. And then you can also manage each member. It has like an ID here, so you can see IDs that belong to each user. You can see their rank. And you also have these options here to move the user up and down or kick them. And on top of that, all of your ranks you can remove or add or whatever you want to do. As long as you have 2 ranks, that's like the bare minimum. We have a faction bank, so if I wanted to deposit money to the faction to like donate to it, I can just do this and it'll deposit it to the faction bank, and I can remove it as well. We can set up faction storages, so like if I wanted to say set up a storage location here, Okay, now we have a storage location here that's only accessible to my faction members, and that means that I can put items in it, just like that, which is pretty great. So what else? What else can we talk about that's in this thing? I'm trying to even think. Um, let's go. Let's add a vehicle, and let's say it's I don't know, an Infernus, right? Let's hop into this thing and let's go get some fuel, because by the time that I get there, I'll definitely need a little bit of fuel. So let's just drive over there. So speaking of fuel, after that, we'll go check out how to do dealerships and things like that as well. But I'm actually going to pause here for a second. One moment. Because I did end up actually crashing because I'm currently investigating a little bug. But, you know, I'll be back in one moment. Okay, so we're back on this. We have a different character. Let's go ahead and add that. There is a bug right now with the textures, the custom textures that I have in the server, which are the ones in the top right that you see. But hopefully we'll be able to resolve that soon. Let me turn this down a little bit. There we go. Oh, did it reset my settings? Yes, it did. Alright, there we go. It wasn't so loud. Yeah, so we have the ability to refuel and all these different trackers and things like that. So let's head on over this way. And I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, we needed to lose just a little bit more fuel. I'm just going to drive a little around for a little bit longer. And I'll show you what that refuel system looks like. It's pretty simple. I don't think we need anything too complicated. You just need to be able to refill your vehicles here. So I'm going to go ahead and shut off the vehicle here. Hop off. And if I press E, it's going to bring me up a little menu here. It says, hey, refill 1.05% of the fuel on the Akuma for $2.10. Sure. And we got a little progress bar. And all these progress bars are something that you can create as well. You can give them to the clients so they can see these as well. And once it's completed, it says you paid $2.10 for the 1.05 units of fuel. Perfect. So now we have fuel. And we'll see that in just a second. There we go. Cool. So there's our fuel system. What else can we talk about? Let's talk about the dealership. That's right. So let's go ahead and head on over there, actually, and we'll just do this. Just teleport over there. So the dealership is based on like holograms. So you have these hologram vehicles that show up, and you're able to browse basically like by like class type. So if I go inside, we'll see one in here, just like this. And then we're able to cycle through these to see what's available. And let's say that I want a GP1. I'm going to purchase it. It's going to be like, hey, visit a garage to spawn your new vehicle. So I can go to the nearest garage, and that's going to let me spawn that vehicle now. So if I head on over to here, go over to this garage right here. Press E on here, scroll to the bottom, spawn. There's our vehicle. There's our brand new vehicle that we just bought. So other than that, a lot of the framework is built in a way to extend upon these systems or use the existing systems that are already implemented to build out whatever you want. Like all these interactions and things, like this garage system is built with the framework. This is already built with existing utilities inside of it. So what this is considered here is a marker and an interaction point. So what I'm able to do is create these interaction points that have different callbacks to like say like a function here, and that'll call this function. So it's like really simple stuff to really build out whatever framework you want. And this goes for like jobs and all these different menus and It's very extensive and um, yeah. So if you're really interested in it, um, I've left the link for the framework in the description. And I think now is probably the best time ever to, if you're thinking about running like a roleplay server or whatever, like this is like the best time to jump into this specific framework that I've written. So in that regard, I really hope that I covered at least some features here. There's obviously more things being done, but this thing is huge. Like I can't stress this enough. This framework is gigantic. We've been only looking at the plugins over here and the actual like systems and things like that. Like this is all the code that you get access to in this thing. It's quite the monster when you really dig into it. Um, but yeah, you can go over to athenaframework.com and you can check out some of the features of it. And if you want, I mean, there's documentation and there's videos for examples and various other things as well. And I just yeah, this thing I've put a lot of I put a lot of time into this, and I think it's super cool. I've already got like plenty of people using this thing, and they've already built some pretty incredible stuff themselves. But yeah, thenaframework.com if you're interested. This was the 2.03 version overview from pretty much beginning to end here. And I don't even know how to begin with, like, how much is actually in this thing. Just check it out yourself. And I don't know, hopefully you enjoyed this video.